Hello, everyone, and welcome to the SSLA podcast. Today, we're going to discuss one of the more interesting topics. We're going to be discussing the IPL, and here to provide the main crux of the discussion are Ayan and Lokesh. So, guys, take over.
Thanks, Veer. So, hi guys. Today we've gathered here to discuss on a topic which, well, I personally feel has gathered momentum in the past 5 years. A topic on which every layman, every cricketing pundit has a say on. It's whether or not IPL has ruined Indian cricket. Well, frankly speaking, from where I see it, it's no, it's done nothing of that sort. Instead, it has done a world of good. Yes, I won't say there haven't been any bad things. Yeah, it has had some bad impacts, but the good has suddenly overshadowed it. I have with me Lokesh. So, before we delve further into this conversation, I would like to ask you a question. Why is it that a lot of people, and for the lack of a better word, I would say IPL haters, project this whole tournament as an entity which is eating away at the fabric of world cricket, and in this context, Indian cricket? Why do you think so? Why is it that people have so much hatred about this tournament?
Well, not talking about on the overall aspect of what the IPL haters think, but as me personally, I think it's because of the originality that is not there in the IPL, and because there have been so many leagues out there in many different part of the countries, and you already have the Ranji Trophy out there in India. So, and you already have great talents coming out of it. And IPL basically is just a mode of entertainment for people in India who are actually very much close to entertainment. And so, that's the originality aspect is lacking.
Okay, so when you talk about originality, the first thing that strikes me is ICL, Indian Cricket League, which was obviously brought up before IPL. Now there were quite a few reasons why it did not, succeed. First, it was illegal; it wasn't recognized by ICC. Secondly, although it shared the same geography, same players, on certain occasions, same grounds as IPL, it never reached places like IPL has. That probably was one of the reasons why IPL came into existence. I won't say that that was one of the primary reasons why Lalit Modi thought of bringing something like the IPL, but yeah, that was somewhere there in his mind when he actually thought of introducing Indian Premier League. Yeah.
Even one more thing you have to, when you're thinking about the IPL,
Yeah.
is because there's so many celebrities actually in the IPL. Not like while you're comparing it to ICL. In IPL, you have Shah Rukh Khan,
Yeah.
KKR. That's enough for people to, switch on the TV and watch IPL. Like that.
Yeah, I agree with you totally, but you need to understand that Indian Premier League was based on this fundamental principle of cricket and entertainment. Basically, that's when this term was coined. Cricketainment. It was not going to be cricket alone. It is cricket. Okay, I have had issues with a lot of people who've said that IPL is not cricket. I mean, what do they expect from IPL? There are 21 players out there in the ground, draped in colorful clothes. There are bats, there are balls, and there's an equal battle going on between bat and ball. That's what cricket is. That's what cricket is all about. And there's some entertainment, there's some moolah. And what's bad in it? I mean, the crowd's enjoying, the players are enjoying. So be it. What you need to understand is when you're comparing something like the ICL with IPL, or forget about ICL at the moment because it does not exist anymore. Let's talk about a more recent league which just came into existence. Big Bash League, BBL, which derives its inspiration from IPL. It's the T20 league of the Australians. Okay, now when we talk about BBL, have you heard of BBL before? Have you seen enough matches from the BBL? Let me know that first.
I've heard of BPL, but I didn't see a single match.
Yeah, there you go. So, problem with BBL and a lot of other domestic cricket leagues like BPL, Bangladesh Premier League, is it's confined to that one country. BBL is confined to Australia, BPL is confined to Bangladesh. You don't really hear much about the players playing there, you don't really know much about the games that are being played there. But with IPL, it's bigger. It touches anyone and everyone and quite equally. And it's going to stay. I think for people to say that it's ruining Indian cricket is just, without knowing the nuances of the game, blaming something just because you want to blame it. Yeah.
I think what you have said till now is pretty good. Like it's pretty right. But even as you spoke about IPL as being cricketainment in itself, well, yeah, that's very much like an entertainment kind of an aspect also. But when you're talking about talents, and people are also talking about talents coming out of IPL, most of them aren't doing well, except a few players like, for example, Shane Watson. He's doing it, but not most of them. But people still talk about talents coming out of it. But moreover, if you look at Test cricket, like you have technicality and everything going in the game. Everything is slow and paced. Like a real cricket fan or any cricket watcher who has patience for that would know the true essence of cricket.
Yeah.
But over here, it's all about big sixes, fours, and sledges sometimes. I don't know, like it's like some kind of a reality show which is going on there.
Okay. So what I could make out from what you just said was, number one, you think it's not just about technique when it comes to IPL, it's all about hitting sixes and fours, and secondly, the talent aspect of it. Okay, now first I would cover the talent aspect of it. Just to let you know, Shane Watson had established himself as a very important player for Australia before he came to IPL. So he didn't come out of IPL as a talented bat. Okay, so he was this very hard hitter, kind of a player who, introduced himself with a knock of, I can't really remember the exact number of runs that he scored, but he had introduced himself in national cricket much before IPL came into existence. Then, how does IPL act as this storehouse of talent? How does it provide you a platform to showcase your talent? Best example would be Mohit Sharma. I don't know who he is. You don't know who he is. I'm presuming that. Do you know who he is?
Yes, I've heard of him.
Yeah, you've heard of him, right? So he's this random player who plays for some random team in the Ranji game. He came into the limelight day before yesterday when he took 3 wickets in the match against Delhi, 2 of which were very established players, David Warner and Virendra Sehwag. Now, when you talk about talents coming out of IPL and talents doing well for India, now for the time being I'll keep it to India because we are talking about whether IPL is winning in cricket. You have got Ajinkya Rahane, who is pretty much in the Indian frame of things. You've got, Yusuf Pathan, who doesn't feature in the squad anymore, but he has established himself. We know him as this very, aggressive player who can go out there and hit runs at will for the team. He can be a match winner on his day. You've got guys like Rohit Sharma. Rohit Sharma's obviously his shot success through Ranji games, but then thing with IPL is, since it's as I just mentioned, it's just not cricket, it's entertainment as well. The pressure, though, it's a different kind of pressure altogether. It's not just about performing. You go out there to enjoy the players, they enjoy out there, and that quite often helps them bring the best out of the repertoire skills that they have. Secondly, the technique aspect of it. I think I have run out of words trying to explain people that IPL has got a very strong camp of players who still rely on skills. Ajinkya Rahane, look at his cover drives, look at the straight backed shots, look at the leaves. Even in cricket, even a leave is important. You are actually taught in a coaching institute how to leave the ball. Look at the way Virat Kohli plays his cover drive. Look at the way Rahul Dravid plays. So you can't really say that IPL is a place where technique doesn't hold any importance. It is very important, because at the end of the day, Lokesh, what you need to understand is it is still cricket. Okay, there is entertainment, there's a hell lot of other factors which are surrounding cricket, but then the crux of the whole tournament is cricket. And you cannot play cricket if you don't know how to play a cover drive. You cannot play cricket if you don't know how to leave the ball. And you cannot play cricket if you don't know how to play a straight drive. So all the aspects taken together forms the IPL. So I kind of refute that argument of yours, which says that IPL doesn't have any technique in it. It's all about hitting sixes and fours. And by the way, hitting a 6 and a 4 also requires technique.
That's true actually. But IPL still has that money aspect in it. You see many players who get greedy and also get bribed or get involved into match fixing scandals and stuff, and many other things also.
Okay, so match fixing. That's something I don't like talking about in such discussions. But since you brought the topic up, match fixing is something which is pretty much prevalent in every format of this game. Okay, it's happened before. It's not just IPL. Now, if you see it carefully, you'd realize that whatever goes wrong in the game of cricket, especially in Indian cricket, in the month of February or anywhere between February to June, IPL is blamed for it. It's like, okay, players getting injured, players not showing up for practice, there's some random player who's taking money, as you just said, getting bribed and stuff like that. IPL is to be blamed for it. Just try and understand that yes, there's a lot of money that goes into it, but then at the end of the day, it's your own choice. You go there because you love playing the game. There are young kids who are actually watching these players. They idolize them. They see them play the cricket. They want to become cricketers, and that's the real beauty of IPL. I mean, I totally understand that for true cricket fans like me, like you, this whole thing of match fixing and players taking bribes, that really irritates us, because that's not what cricket was meant to be. It was meant to be a gentleman's game, which it is not anymore. But then, as fans, we need to understand that it's all a part and parcel of the game. You cannot just live without. You will come across all of this every now and then, but you can't blame an entire league for that. An individual is to be blamed for it, not a league.
But as fast as the IPL is, or T20 game, as fast as it moves and all, the schedule is so fast, well, compared to a 50-50 over game or any test match that's happening. But yeah, even match fixing does happen in these formats, but it's pretty much less while compared to IPL or in any T20 game, which happens normally. But can't you see the difference between the test cricket, the 50-50 over match, and also the T20? Can't you just see how the rate of flow of money is actually changing in between? How everything is happening fast, and through that, everything is just going like a burst of fire, and everything is just moving away quickly.
Yeah, that's okay. That's how it's supposed to be, right? Because in IPL you've got actors, you've got business tycoons who are involved in the game. So it's very obvious that the money that changes hand, it's going to be much faster than what you see in Test cricket, or for that matter 50 over cricket. Now you need to understand one thing. BCCI controls Test cricket and one day cricket as far as Team India is concerned. Okay, now when it comes to IPL, there's a whole new governing body which sees to it that the whole tournament is transparent, and basically they look after the running of the tournament. BCCI has very little say in it. They are right up there. It's like being the president of India. At the end of the day, it's the Prime Minister who takes the decisions. The President just signs it. So it's basically the IPL governing council who takes care of all the things that are going on in the tournament. BCCI just stands there and oversees the whole process. And if by chance any major problem crops up, that's when BCCI interferes. So you need to understand that the whole money aspect of it is always going to be there, and it's not just about IPL location. It's about every domestic league, be it in cricket, be it in football, be it any other league. The money factor will be there because it's not something that's being controlled by one governing body. There are a lot of people who are involved in it. there are a lot of sponsors. There are a lot of IPL currently has got 9 teams, right? Which actually means there are 9 team owners, and they are rich people. They are ready to pay loads and loads of money for one player. So the money aspect of it will always be there. Okay. Now before we go further, okay, I would like to state certain points just to see if that helps you in looking at the whole picture a bit differently. The kind of positives that have happened in Indian cricket after the advent of IPL. Okay. First, the approach. What do you think? Has the approach of the players changed?
Yes.
It has, right? So, Indian Premier League, a 2020 game, it is meant to change the way a batsman or a bowler thinks, and to make it more easy for everyone who's listening to it. Let's take the example of the one-day game that was played between Australia, okay, beg your pardon, which was played between Sri Lanka and India 2 years back in the CB series, where India was supposed to score 340 odd runs in less than 40 overs to qualify for the semis. And they did that, and they did that in style. The man of the match was Virat Kohli, who scored 180 odd runs. Now, the interesting thing is, 10 years back, when there was no concept of T20 or when there was no concept of IPL, target in excess of 300 would consider to be mammoth. If you score 300, you are as good as the winner. But today, even 400 looks pretty small. There have been teams who have chased down 410 targets like 410, 434 with ease. Why? It's because of the advent of T20. It's because of the advent of games like IPL. Talking about the Indian players in particular, it's because of the advent of IPL, because we see day in, day out IPL teams chasing runs in excess of 60, excess of 70s inside 6 overs. So now they're much more confident. They know that even if it goes till the end, can still win it. Because we have done it before. We've been there. We have soaked in the pressure. We know how to maneuver the ship out of choppy waters. That's what IPL has done. That's what the biggest contribution of IPL has been for Indian cricket. It's changed the way the players think. It's changed the way players assess their situations. 1. Number 2. Talking about the kind of wickets. Now this is something that's not discussed as often as the other factors, but I really believe that with the advent of IPL, India in particular has started panning out sporty wickets. Because see, subcontinent has always been known to produce slow rank turners, pitches which break as the game progresses, pitches which turn a lot. Now you tell me, if there's a wicket which is turning, okay, which has got a lot of help for spinners, will you like to see one such kind of wicket in a tournament which is meant to give you 4s and 6s, which is meant to be an even battle between bat and ball? Would you like to see the spinners stamping the authority throughout the game? Will you enjoy it as a fan?
Yes, of course, I will enjoy it.
So, are you telling me that if there's Muralidharan who goes out there, bowls and bowls well, bowls 4 overs, gives away just 20 runs, picks up 6 wickets and makes sure that, for example, let's take it's Mumbai versus RCB, Bombay get out for 80 all out, and then some spinner from Bombay comes and picks up the same number of wickets and makes sure that Bombay wins. Then where's the fun?
Wait, IPL, T20 now, it's not all about batting.
It's not. I totally agree. I totally agree with it. It's not all about batting. It's not all about bowling. That's where the main point lies. It's about an even battle between bat and ball, and that can happen only if there are sporty wickets. Okay, to make things easier for you. You know Dharamshala, right? Dharamshala cricket ground, which just came into the limelight with IPL matches being held there, and recently there was this Indo-England tie which happened there. The one-day match which happened there. It came into limelight after the IPL matches being held there. Now, one interesting stat about it. It's got 64% of Bermuda clay content in it. Now, Bermuda clay is something that cricket curators use to make the pitch more bouncy. Okay, now with more bounce, the faster bowlers will get more help. It will be easier for the batsmen to play their shots. And this way, you are actually striking good balance between bat and ball. Now, Dharamshala's 64% content of clay comes close to Perth in Australia, WACA at Perth, which happens to be the fastest cricket pitch in the world.
Yeah.
It has got 75% clay content in it. Whereas you'll be pretty surprised to know that the amount of clay content that's required to make a pitch sporty, to make a bouncy pitch, is just 40%. Okay, and there were games which were being held in Dharamshala, but none of us really knew about it. Like, I personally didn't know about it. There were some domestic games being held there, but then there happens this Chennai versus Punjab game, and all of a sudden this whole new pitch comes in the picture, which is pretty sporty. The climate is brilliant. Unfortunately, only the curator, only the groundsman can't decide the nature of the pitch. The climate plays a huge role in it, and that's where the positive lies, and that's something I think BCCI have missed out on. I'd really be happy as a fan if BCCI do that. That is, use Dharamshala as a ground to train our batsmen, because the conditions there are the closest we can get to Leeds or Lords in England. The cloud cover. It's a pretty open stadium. There are no walls, so there's good breeze flowing in, good help for the swing bowlers. There's bounce on the wicket, so batsmen can play their shots quite easily. So this is something that our batsmen as well as our bowlers need to know and need to work on, because I have seen their plight when they go outside India, play on bouncy pitches where they just can't, tackle good fast bowling. So that's where IPL has, again come into the picture. It has told the world, it has told the country that yes, look guys, we have got a wicket which is, if not right up there, it's just as good as the ones we have in England, Australia and South Africa. We can use it. Second point. Okay, now moving on. You want to add something to this? What do you think about all of this?
Yes, I clearly see like how through IPL, how cricket has become more, if I would say, more sophisticated, because each and everything has a technique, or it has an added advantage, because you have technology getting into cricket so much that everything is actually happening within a click, I can say. And it's the main problem that I find with IPL is how it is actually getting this format of T20, making it move forward so much that I don't know, because before there was Test cricket, and now 40-50 years before the 50-50 format came in, right? And everything is just reducing down, and now it's T20, and now people may get bored of T20 and also may reduce it even more. Like, what is basically going on over here? And IPL is like a catalyst who is taking cricket to a whole new level of insanity, basically. Okay. What do you want to say about this?
Yeah, okay, sure. This is something which should start a whole new discussion of whether T20 cricket is killing Test cricket or not. Okay, to start off with, Test cricket is the ultimate form of the game. Every player who dreams of becoming a cricketer dreams of playing Test cricket for his nation. Okay, let's get this straight. Because in the past we had surveys which have told us that although, and this has happened after IPL has completed 2 years. IPL had completed its 2 years of existence. Okay, so it's like people had a lot of IPL already. So there was this survey where one of the cricket coaching institutes in Mumbai or Bangalore, I don't really remember the place, had conducted this survey which basically covered a lot of youngsters who were playing cricket in coaching institutes and wanted to know which format of the game they liked. And you'd be pretty surprised to know that, and this is after 2 years of existence of IPL, 70% of them said that they dream of playing Test cricket for their country. Test cricket is the ultimate form of the game. So, yes, when you look at it as the way it exists, you feel that IPL is taking over everything. As you just said, it's taking cricket to a new level of insanity. And maybe 10 years down the line, you might see T10 cricket. Okay, so, but with that, you also need to understand that when a kid is growing up, when he dreams of playing cricket, when he's sent to a coaching institute, his coach will, and this, I'm actually coming back to square one. He will teach you how to leave the ball. He will teach you how to play the defensive stroke. He will teach you how to tackle good spin bowling, good fast bowling. And that is what cricket is all about. That is what IPL is based on. That is what T20 cricket is based on. So people who basically think that T20 cricket, let's not talk about IPL for the time being, T20 cricket is actually going to kill Test cricket over a period of time, I think they don't really make any sense, because Test cricket is pretty much going to be there. Yes, we also need to understand that with time and with the advent of technology, we need to make few modifications in the format. But then the essence of it is stay there on the pitch, stay there for 5 days, grind it out, and win the game for your team. And Test cricket is always going to be right up there. IPL can never cause a danger to Test cricket. Okay. Yeah. Say something.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying about how the players see Test cricket to be the ultimate form.
Yeah.
But now, how cricket actually survives? So it basically survives upon its audience. It needs audience, and if you have seen Test cricket, and the amount of people who come there are actually lesser than the 50-50 format or than the T20 format. And if you're saying that the player looks Test cricket to be the ultimate form, what is driving him basically over there? But actually, people are getting even more down and down to the very bottom of it.
Okay. And so, as I just said, we need to modify certain rules in Test cricket. Now, you might be knowing that there was this whole new phase where cricket experts from around the world were discussing about using a pink ball in Test cricket so that they could actually play Test cricket at night to get in more crowd. Now, Test cricket, the whole crowd issue is, as of now, it's just India which is facing this problem. Test cricket is pretty much alive in South Africa, England, and Australia. People follow that. Okay. Now, in India, yes, and I won't say that there are too many people who go out there and see Test matches. There are people who follow Test cricket religiously. There are people who go there and watch their favorite players play Test cricket. Yeah, this phase, it's pretty difficult for Test cricket, but I'm pretty sure with the kind of history that Test cricket has, and with the kind of the love and affection the players have for this format. I would literally say the love and affection the players have, because people like Rahul, if you look at people like Rahul Dravid and Sachin Tendulkar, the first thing they would say is, okay, we love Test cricket. This is where we belong. That's what has made us what we are. Okay, so I don't think it really IPL poses a danger to Test cricket. Okay, moving on. Redeeming players, their own redemption. IPL has done that and has done that time and again. This time it's Ishant Sharma. He was this fast bowler. 3 years back, came into the picture, made his debut against Australia in a Test series, bowled fast, used to swing the ball. 3 years down the line, loses his pace, loses his swing, loses his place in the team. Now, once again, he's maturing as a bowler. He has got Waqar Younis. He, of course, plays for your favorite team, Sunrisers Hyderabad, the IPL. His bowling coach is Waqar Younis, who happens to be a modern day legend. He's sharing the new ball with one of the greatest fast bowlers in contemporary cricket, Dale Steyn. And now, if you see, one of the problems that he was facing was when you're bowling a fast bowler, you have to make sure that your fingers remain right behind the seam, which helps you swing the ball. And your head shouldn't really, move away from the line of delivery. These are two things which were happening and happening quite often with Ishant Sharma. Now, if you see him bowl, you'd see that those fingers aren't really moving. They are right behind the seam. The head is still while he's delivering the ball. And that's why he's swinging the ball again, he's bowling fast, and he has redeemed himself. So IPL has always been this place where people who are out of form, or who are struggling with injuries, and now are trying to come back in the national team, can test their skills once again, can see whether they are fit enough to play for their country.
Yes, that's pretty much for your technicality. Thanks for enlightening me on your on this occasion. There's so many things that I've learned from it, but still, I would find IPL to be taking cricket to a place where it actually shouldn't go, to the monetary place. And yeah, that's it.
And so, before we wrap up with this session, what I'd like to say is IPL is pretty much there. It's there for everyone to see. It has impacted the whole game of cricket in a way never seen before. The quicker we realize it, the better it is for us. We need to embrace the concept, and that will only do a world of good to not just Indian cricket, to the whole world of cricket. Yeah, that's it from both of us. Thank you.
Thank you.